Okay, super quick dating update. I had given this guy my number like a long time ago on a dating app, and for some reason we never really texted, but he just randomly messaged me out of the blue and was like, hey, are you busy tomorrow night? I'd love to take you to dinner. And in my head, I don't have this app anymore, by the way. It's not on my phone, I don't have the app. So in my head, he's like, this is Dave. And I'm like, I don't remember what you look like. I have no idea. So essentially, I'm going on a little bit of a blind date. A little awkward to just be like, send me a picture of what you look like, or like, I don't remember what you look like. So I'm just going with it. I'm like, you know what? Let's have a little blind date. Like, who cares?
Nobody cares, Sean. Nobody cares.
Well, after listening to this, I think I've come to one of two conclusions. The first is if a man is randomly texting you out of the blue after a prolonged period of time, I think it's safe to say he's looking to smash and thinks you're an easy target. And considering the type of man that you'd be willing to give your phone number, my guess is that he wouldn't have too much of a problem in that department. And when you take into account that you're accepting to go out on a date with a random dude that you haven't spoken to in quite some time, you're not exactly the brightest bulb in the socket. And that leads me to possibility number 2. He's trying to sell you a timeshare. And if that's the case, I gotta hand it to the guy for coming up with some of the most diabolical business ingenuity I've ever seen in my life. There's no circle of hell quite like being stuck in a timeshare sales meeting. And you might actually have a chance of actually getting a sale on this one. Yeah, lady, you really aren't that smart.
But it's so beautiful out tonight. I'll sit on a patio and have dinner. And this is the best part, he's bringing his dog. He told me since we're gonna be on a patio and it's so nice out, he's like, oh, I'll just bring my dog. And I'm like, yes, please bring the dog. This is the ideal situation. Even if I don't end up liking him, I have a cute dog to pet. So, you know, what can go wrong?
You dumb bastard.
So now after adding the dog factor into the equation, I think we can safely assume that selling timeshares is now officially off the table. It's a known fact. You can't sell a timeshare if a dog is involved. And this woman has explained exactly why. If you're too busy admiring the dog, you're not listening to the guy explain how a smart investment is constantly being paying for something you can only use 2 weeks out of the year. It's not a great salesman tactic. But if a dude is looking to smash, then no, you betcha, a dog will definitely help in that matter, especially if that doggo loves people. And there's a professional term that men use when it involves dogs and women, and that professional term is known as panty peeler. It ranks up there with having money, being good looking, and being a rich, handsome man. And this guy knows exactly what he's doing. And it's fairly obvious, but what's hilarious to me at least, is how this broad is completely clueless to what is going on, which would make her a perfect mark for a timeshare sale.
No, who knows? Maybe Dave is my future husband. I also told him Dave is my dad's name, so that's kind of weird. I was like, Dave, I feel like I wouldn't have matched with a Dave on a dating app because in my head I'm like, Dave, like that's my dad's name. That's kind of weird. But he was like, hey, this is Dave. And I was like, I don't know if I told you this yet, but that's my dad's name. And he was like, that's my dad's name too. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I'm Dave Jr. So we had a good laugh about that. All the Daves, you know, so who knows? I'm running a little bit late, so I should probably go.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, you precious future crab case. That man is most definitely not going to marry you. He won't even ask you out on a second date. Just take a look at this from a man's perspective. You gave this man your phone number months ago, and he reaches out to you out of nowhere months later, and you immediately agree to a date. It's clear to everyone, he's not looking for romance or even anything long term. You are a member of his illustrious roster. And if that wasn't bad enough, you're not only on this dude's roster, but you are at the bottom of the list since he didn't reach out to you for months, which means that he just wasn't taking multiple trips to Stankville, he was doing it with women who were way hotter than you. And you already may be creating the story about how you met the future father of your children, but this guy already has his excuse as to why you can't spend the night at his pad. If I had to venture a guess, he probably has work in the morning. Either that or a timeshare meeting. Considering how dumb you are, you'll buy whatever excuse he's peddling, no matter what.
Your intellect is as weak as your dollar. Failure is your destiny. You disrespect yourself and your nation. You are made of stupid.
If they wanted to, they would. No, wait. If they won't, somebody else will? No. I got it. If they won't, I will. If they won't give me what I need from them, I will give it to myself. Yep, that's right. Okay, thank you, love you, bye.
You go, girl! You get it, girl! You hear that? You got it, girl!
maybe I'm a little bit behind the times here, but isn't that the whole point of what you're doing? That's like 90% of what you talk about. All we hear from you is how you don't need a man while you endlessly brag about how you barely qualify as an adult in Western society. I mean, that's your whole thing. Well, that and making daily affirmations where you tell the entire internet that you're cranky because Tyrone Crockett doesn't want you. That's all this is. Just multiple shades of unpleasant behavior that makes self-respecting men thank their lucky stars that they're single. So if you're going to give whatever you need to your own gosh darn self, then good for you, lady. Go forth and prosper. I don't think how you should expect us to care, but here's something for you to ponder. If you're gonna go be a boss bae Yas queen who only needs a man for his wallet, bedroom ability, and to give you that Disney princess fantasy you think you deserve, then why are you bothering to tell us? Shouldn't you be busy microwaving your dinners and missing your credit card payments as you dread going to work tomorrow? Because it sounds to me like you got a full schedule. So we're gonna be gentlemen and we're just gonna go now to leave you to your own devices. Good luck with that whole being your own woman thing. We'll see you in 10 years when you're ugly crying and blaming us for your misery.
Don't go away, man. Just go away.
Okay, dating app bio help for the single mom. This is what worked for me. Number one, first photo should be a good picture of you by yourself smiling. Also include a full body shot, maybe you standing with friends. I personally don't recommend putting photos with your kids. I did it one point years ago when I was on the apps, but something about it just felt weird. I changed my bio up a couple times, but I will tell you the one that got the most responses. I was so sick of the small talk. How was your weekend? What are you up to this weekend? This weather is amazing. So I changed my bio to, instead of talking about the weather, what we did last weekend, let's meet up for a drink. It might not work for everybody, but for me, it's so much less awkward to meet up for a drink on a first date than go to dinner. And if you're having a good time, the guy usually will be the one to say, hey, are you hungry? Want to go get dinner? And if you're feeling it, you can say yes. Or if you're not, you can be like, oh no, I actually have other plans, or I have to get home to my kids, or whatever the excuse is that you want to go. So be sure to be safe. Make sure to let a friend or a family member know who you're going out with, where you're going, share your location. You just never know. Thankfully, I have no horror stories to share.
I am Jack's complete lack of surprise.
And here we have rule number 437 of the Modern Woman's Code of Conduct. A lie of omission is not a lie. It doesn't sound like you're telling this man in your dating profile that you're a single mother. It sounds like you're waiting to tell this guy after he's committed to buying you some drinks and potentially a free dinner. Then you drop the bomb on him, and if he's still interested, it's usually because he's interested in one thing, and no, it's not your charming personality. I'm sure that this strategy will get you a few dates, but there's no chance in 7 hells that any man will be willing to take you seriously, especially after you've just catfished this guy. Sure, he may slum it every once in a while because he's got needs and you're low effort, but that's the best case scenario for you, sister. No self-respecting man wants to take on responsibility of taking care of someone else's spawn, which is the ultimate endgame for you. But what do I know? I'm not on dating apps. I got better ways to waste my time.
Hell yeah! Funny guys are dangerous. They will make you laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, and then poof, your clothes are off.
That's why I praise the Lord for prostitutes.
Well, you almost had a point there, sweetheart. Funny people are dangerous, but not in the way you think. Take a walk with me down Tinfoil Lane. Now, if you subscribe to the idea that the world is being FedExed to hell by handcart by a cabal of billionaires who wish to recreate the world in their own satanic image, then let's take a look at what they need to do it. You ever notice how mainstream comedy sucks nowadays? I mean, think about it. Anything that was considered edgy or legitimately funny is now more bland and sterile than this broad's taste in tattoos. And that's because laughter is an insanely powerful thing, and the overlords want to suppress laughter in all forms. And there's one thing I've learned about overlords: they hate legitimately funny people, because they're not the easiest people to control. These guys think for themselves, and they aren't afraid to be smartasses when the situation calls for it, and the situation always calls for it. They can't help themselves. A good joke is like a modern woman's case of herpes. She can't help but spread it around, and boy oh boy, does it get around when it happens. And it's humor that will always be the thorn in the side of the absurdly powerful, which is why funny people are so dangerous in their eyes. And that's why I'll always be a firm believer that the world needs more smartasses and fewer broads who think that tattoos and pandering to free thinkers is a replacement for a personality.
That's funny because it's so true. Alright, so this is honestly from my 20-something-year-olds that are single, that are not married, all of that stuff, okay? This is just, if you're going through marriage, all of that, this video is not for you. But if you're single and you don't know what the heck is going on with your life, and you know everyone else around you is like bait up, this is a video for you, okay? And a reminder, because that is me. Let me tell y'all, like, we are in our 20s, okay? And I used to be like, oh, like, I wish I was also, like, in a serious relationship. I wish I was, you know, getting married. I wish all of this and that, right? Like, I was very much, like, playing into societal norms and pressures and all of that. And this is just a reminder that literally everyone has their own journey. Like, we are so young still, and the way that I am, you know, taking this in is using this time, this literal time that I'm never gonna get back, to be in pure solitude, to love myself fully, to like do all the things that I can do before I have a like long-term committed relationship, before I have commitment to kids.
Great plan.
Thank you.
He likes your plan, Chief.
Alright, woman, there's no easy way to say this. You're like a moron running a fish market. Allow me to explain. You see, fish only have so long to be considered desirable, and the freshest of fish will always get the highest gains, which is why it's important to sell said fish as soon as humanly possible. Now, there are certain things you can do to keep this fish desirable for a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, the shelf life of your average wild-caught fish isn't exactly infinite. Now, your plan is to take that fish, throw it out in the sun on its lonesome, let it get picked at by birds, rats, and insects, and then after it's far past its prime, then you're gonna try and sell it as if it was as good as being fresh. And your reasoning for doing this is somehow that the fish has had its time to gain some experience and live its life under the sun. The only problem, outside of literally everything, is that it's damaged, unappealing to look at, and it's used up so badly that the man you want to buy this fish will question why he ever wanted fish in the first place. And now you act offended when men say they don't want that fish and opt for something fresher and, you know, actually useful.
And am I closed off to love? Absolutely not. I am so open to love. Like, I can't wait till the day that I am with my partner, my, you know, person, my best friend. I can't wait till that day that I get to come home to them, see them every day, you know, create a family with them, all of that. I am so stoked for that. But with divine timing, with whenever that occurs, but with where I'm at today, like, I am just taking it day by day and literally doing the best that I can every single day.
I hate to break it to you, sister, but you're doomed. Much like the fish market you needlessly destroyed to the ground, thanks to your reasons that you'll never fully comprehend, you've more or less dehumanized the very thing that you desire. You claim to be open to love, but listen to how you refer to this love. My person, my partner, my best friend, instead of man, husband, or even boyfriend. You can't even use the word him. You have to refer to that dude as they or them. Now imagine for a second that you come across the man you want in your life, but you can't even submit to the most basic form of masculinity by recognizing him as a male. How long do you think that man is going to want to be with you? Well, if you manage that fish market the same way you've managed your love life, I'm going to say that your rotten stench alone is going to be enough to repel men. And whether or not you take that literally or metaphorically doesn't matter. It's practically the same thing either way.
And I'm not dwelling on the potentials of, you know, what I want. And it was a hard thing for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's a hard thing to sit on, because it's like I've just come to that acceptance that, you know, like, this is a period in my life that I should take advantage of. I should take advantage of the fact that I am alone, and I love it. I love it, y'all. I love it. And I just wanted to remind anyone that is going through something similar that you're not alone, technically, because, you know, you're gonna meet so many people and you're gonna create so many memories that you probably wouldn't be able to create if you did have a family, or, you know, you started a family. And again, this is not to anybody that is or has a family, all that stuff. Like, this is just kind of just a reminder to anyone that isn't. So anyways, I hope y'all have a lovely day. I just wanted to hop on and say that.
Right.
Right, gotcha. So in other words, you're recording a video of yourself to remind yourself that you love the life of solitude that you actively created for yourself. I mean, that's incredibly specific, but it's also a bunch of bull hockey. You hate this life. You hate it so much that you felt the need to try and convince the planet that you're totally cool with being alone for the rest of your life. But if we're keeping up with the fish market metaphor, the precious time that you had to make your market successful has long since passed. You've caused too much damage to your reputation and your ability to be able to successfully peddle your wares once the word has gotten out that you're just full of rot. Nobody wants to frequent your shop except for guys who don't mind playing around with rotted out flounder, just as long as they don't have to pay for it afterwards. And considering that's the only business you can get, you really don't have much choice but to accept, because at the end of the day, having some guys play with your overused festering fish market of abandoned hope is the only thing you have left in this world. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and be sure to share this video so we can get the word out and give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.